Next, what comes after AI? I mean, what happens when intelligence itself just becomes a commodity, something you can just switch on, like a utility? Because let's be real, if history's taught us anything, is that no technology is ever the end of the line.
Think about it. Every single one of these massive breakthroughs, it's just a stepping stone. The steam engine, that led to electricity. Electricity powered up the first computers. Those computers, well, they gave us the internet. And the internet is really what paved the way for AI. So you see that question mark at the end? That's not a full stop. Oh no, that's the start of a whole new chapter for us.
Okay, so to really get a grip on what's coming, we first have to kind of shift our perspective on what AI even is.
You know, I think a lot of us see AI as the grand finale, right? The peak of human innovation. But that's not it at all. In fact, it's the total opposite. It's not the destination. It's the new foundation we're going to build everything else on.
So, if it's not the final stop, what is it? Well, the best way to think about it is like this. AI is the new digital electricity.
Seriously, think about it for a sec. Once a technology becomes truly ubiquitous, once it's everywhere, it just kind of disappears. It stops being the big headline and becomes this invisible infrastructure that just powers everything. I mean, nobody talks about the electricity revolution anymore, right? You just flip a switch and it works. AI, it's on that exact same track.
And this is where the shift gets really profound. Electricity, it powers our physical world, our lights, our homes. But AI, it's set to power our tools, sure, but also our biology, our actual perception of reality. We're not just going to use it. We're going to be living inside the systems that it creates. So the real question, the big one, is what are we going to build on top of this brand new infrastructure?
And that brings us to the next great phase. This is the real answer to what comes next. It's not artificial intelligence. It's augmented humanity. It's this incredible merger of our own human ingenuity with machine intelligence. And it seems to be unfolding across three, honestly, mind-bending domains.
Okay, first up, augmented cognition. And we're talking way beyond just asking your phone a question. Imagine having neural implants that make your memory perfectly searchable, or brain-computer interfaces that let you download and learn a complex new skill, like, say, a new language or a musical instrument in just a few weeks. In a world like that, intelligence isn't just stuck inside your head anymore. It becomes this shared, networked system between your mind and the machine.
Then there's augmented biology. This is where things get really wild. It's the point where we stop just treating disease and we start engineering health. With AI, we can start to treat our own cells like they're software and our DNA like it's code that can be edited. I mean, just imagine a future where medicine doesn't just slow down aging, but it can actually rewrite the biological programs that cause it to happen at all.
And finally, this all kind of converges into augmented reality. This is where the line between the digital and the physical just blurs completely. You won't be using technology on a screen anymore. You'll be living inside of it. Picture this: cities that can think, that can intelligently reroute traffic on their own. Buildings that literally respond to you being there. The world itself is going to feel less like a bunch of inert stuff and more like a single, living, responsive environment. All right, so if AI is going to automate all our thinking work, and we're augmenting our own abilities, well, that brings up a massive question about society itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is probably one of the biggest questions we're ever going to have to face. If machines can produce pretty much everything we need, creating this world of abundance, what is it that we humans are supposed to do all day? When you don't have to work just to survive, what's your purpose?
And look, the knee-jerk answer is that we'll all just get lazy. But the real answer is actually way more optimistic. It's not about laziness. It's about a fundamental shift towards meaning. This allows our focus to shift to the stuff that really makes us human. You know, things like pure scientific exploration, deep philosophy, creating art, and maybe most importantly, things like caregiving and human connection. These become the new center of what we do, valued not because they make money, but because they give our lives meaning. But of course, this incredible future, it's not a given. There's a catch. With every single giant leap forward like this, you get a great imbalance.
And the main danger here isn't some sci-fi robot rebellion. No, the real risk is much more subtle and much more human. It's that our technological power is evolving way, way faster than our wisdom to handle it. And you can see the gap right here. Technology is just accelerating exponentially. But our ethics, our laws, our culture, they're all lagging behind, struggling to adapt. And it's in this widening gap where the real dangers are hiding.
We're talking about unprecedented concentrations of power, the complete death of privacy, and a world where we can't even agree on what's real anymore. And all of that forces us to ask a really deep philosophical question. In a world where intelligence itself is basically unlimited, what do we choose to value? What ideals do we decide have to survive no matter what?
So, as we start to wrap this up, the most important thing to remember is that none of this is set in stone. The future isn't just something that's going to happen to us. This really captures the whole idea we've been exploring. AI was never ever the destination. It was the door. It's the gateway to this whole new era of augmented humanity, a future where we actually get the power to reshape not just our world, but our very selves. And that right there is the final, most crucial takeaway. The future that comes after AI isn't predetermined. It's going to be designed. The path we end up on depends entirely on the choices we're making right now. The choices about ethics, about who has access to this power, about what we as a species truly value. For the first time, we're not just passengers in history. We're the architects.